Fucking this bitch on my fire. That's your hoe, I pass her to the guys. Her niggas switch on the game like they buy. I don't fuck with these niggas, they lie. My bitch bad and she pray to Allah. I get so high when I'm smoking on top. Gas what I smoke, gas what I blow. She wanna smoke on these shawty, why they baby know that they can't make you choke.
So this is a video I wanted to hold off on making for a while because my opinion on this subject is very clearly in the minority, especially with recent events that are going down. But I also have to be honest, I'm just gonna cut straight to the point. Avatar fans are the dumbest fandom I think I've ever seen on the internet, like ever. And there's like a plethora of things I could talk about that's wrong with them. And also, by the way, if you are a closed-minded person who's not willing to engage in good faith discussion, or if you're a delusional Avatar dick rider, just click off the video. This is not for you. I'm going to get on your ass. Because Avatar fans, one, think that their series is way better than it actually is. It's really not. It's not that well written. It's just a children's cartoon that's better than other children's cartoons. But that's neither here or there. I'm not here to talk about the plethora of plot holes, character assassinations, and inconsistencies within that show. And also the fact that they have the worst written villain of all time across any piece of media. But no, I'm also here to talk about the very blatant, like, weird hate wave to Korra, because basically if you've been living under a rock for the past like couple days or whatever, there's a new Avatar series that's been announced. Now, I for one could literally care less. I do not give two shits about the Avatar franchise, the Avatar universe, anything. I like Korra, but that's about it. I think the original series is like a solid 6 out of 10. I think the live action movie's dog shit. I think the live action series is dog shit. Like, I literally could care less about Avatar. But my For You page on TikTok has been fucking taken over by people talking about this new series. And the description of the new series says that it is set in a world shattered by a devastating cataclysm. A young earthbender discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra, but in this dangerous era that marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Hunted by both human and spirit enemies, she and her long-lost twin must uncover their mysterious origins and save the Seven Havens, blah 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 blah. If you read that description and you immediately thought, oh gee, I wonder what happened, then guess what? You are a logical person. But TikTok, as it tends to do, somehow took this and started a narrative that Korra is responsible for destroying the world or whatever. You know, an interpretation that's founded upon nothing except for the fact that the Avatar title is now synonymous with being humanity's destroyer. You know, something that could very much just be the classic trope of the audience knowing more information than the public in universe. But no, she destroyed the world, bro. Like, definitely, just 100%. They just decided to make her go AWOL and fuck everything up, on God, after 4 seasons of development. Now, granted, the writers of Avatar and Korra are not good at their jobs to begin with, so I wouldn't really be that surprised if that's the route that they went, but I doubt it. Regardless though, this has led to every single incel who's ever consumed Avatar to come out the woodworks with all of their Korra hate. And yes, I describe them as incels because, as we're gonna see, a lot of their criticisms are very, very bad. But I mean, that's common with female characters to begin with. They tend to get way more hate than their male counterparts, even if they're better characters objectively, which Korra is compared to Aang. Now, my take on the series, I'm not excited for it, don't care about it, I'm not going to watch it anyway. As I said at the beginning of this video, I don't think Avatar is a well-written series. I don't even like enjoy going back to watch it, and Korra is decent. Like, it still has a lot of things I dislike, but it is the only good thing to come out of that franchise. I think that's like pretty objective. I think the people who gas up Avatar are flat out stupid and need to watch more TV. But regardless though, let's take a look at some of these TikToks to hear their arguments as to why Korra is now the worst Avatar of all time, because they're vindicated to hate on her now.
And what I find so funny about all of this is that people knew that Korra wasn't a good Avatar. Like, was she a good bender? 110%. She was tough. Like, if you just sit there and watch the show, you know that she could use the powers really well. But in terms of what the Avatar stood for, Korra did not have that, bro.
Now, if I remember correctly, none of the series really go too in depth about what the exact job of the avatar is because it's relative to their time period and what that time period requires, if I remember correct. Like with Aang, they said his job was to stop the Fire Lord, which yeah, that's what the world needed at the time. And with Korra, it's to maintain balance. However, given the comics and extra canon material that we have, as well as the literal description on the Avatar wiki, it's safe to assume that the job of the Avatar consistently is to maintain peace between humans and spirits, as well as balance between the four nations. Now, just off that description, I think it's pretty objective that Korra is a better Avatar than Aang, but I'll get more in depth to that as this guy continues because his points are really fucking bad.
I mean, can we talk about the elephant in the room about how she destroyed the entire previous Avatar line? And that the next Avatar, the only person they're gonna have to rely on for their Avatar experience is her.
Okay, so as I've already established, the job of the Avatar is to maintain peace and balance between humans, spirits, and the four nations, yada yada yada. As you can tell, losing the connections to the past Avatars has nothing to do with your effectiveness of doing that. Yeah, sure, it may make your job harder or less optimal, however, that does not mean that your effectiveness at said job is worse than the others. So I do not understand why you brought this up. And to get even sillier with it, I don't even know why y'all are acting like the past Avatars were useful anyway. Like seriously, what the fuck did they ever do for Aang besides give him power every now and then? If anything, her losing the connections would just help the fact that she's a better Avatar, or help the argument that she's a better Avatar, because it means that she did more impressive things than Aang with less tools at her disposal. Her making her job harder for herself does not equate to her being bad at her job. This is a stupid non-point. You're dumb.
And again, she is not a good Avatar, bro. Like, the new world literally has to pick up the pieces that she left behind. Are you serious?
We know absolutely nothing about this new series or how the events played out. Why are you speaking as if you know? I could literally just say, oh, the public is wrong, and it could be equal interpretation because you cannot prove your interpretation to be more likely than mine.
Now, in the new series, they may do some sort of switcheroo where, you know, she wasn't that bad and it really wasn't her fault. But as far as we know, Korra ruined the world.
Okay, one, you just explained why this entire video is pointless, and two, no, that's not as far as we know, because we cannot come to that conclusion based off this description alone. Because as you just said, her being branded as humanity's destroyer means absolutely nothing until we get the full context. Meaning you yourself are acknowledging and conceding that this entire video is dumb and your points are not fact.
As everybody believed that she did and that she would. We tried to tell y'all, Shawty was buns as an Avatar.
Okay, I mean, he just said a whole lot of nothing, didn't really make any valid points at all, but I mean, you know, surely this guy does not represent the average Avatar fan. He does, but surely he does not represent their intelligence, their IQ, or the points that they'll use. So we can move on to the next guy, because I'm pretty sure they'll be smarter. Like, please, they have to be. There's no way they're not.
Bro, it's so hard to be a Korra defender. Yeah, because she sucks. She's the Paul George of Avatars, I would imagine. Severed the connection between the previous Avatars, left the spirit portal open, which only worsened human-spirit relations. And
her severing the connections does not make her an objectively bad or worse Avatar than anyone who came before, but I already went over that, so I'm not going to repeat myself. He brings up the spirit portals being left open, worsening human and spirit relations. When did that happen? Now, I don't read the Korra comics, so maybe the comics established that she messed up with the humans and spirits or whatever. I don't know, nor do I really care. And I don't really think it's relevant to begin with, because as he makes very clear later on in this video, he's specifically talking about the show and how it wrote her. So I don't even see how extra canon material would be relevant here, because it's not. But in book 3, you know, directly after she leaves the spirit portals open or whatever, it's established that for the most part everyone is happy that she did this. Like, the only people who are upset are the people who lived in the buildings that were affected by the vine, and the president, but only because he cares about his ratings or whatever. But regardless though, every single human and spirit interaction we get on screen in book 3 is positive, if I remember correctly, which which, like, sure, you can argue that's not the entire world or whatever, but Chekhov's gun, they put those interactions there to establish the fact that humans and spirits are now friendly with each other. I mean, the only example I can think of that he could possibly be referring to is like episode 9 of book 4, but even then there's like context as to why the vines attack Jinora and the other airbenders. So like, yeah, I quite literally do not understand what you're referring to when you say she worsened the relations. It has to be a comic thing.
Caused a cataclysmic event so grand that the entire world wants your successor dead.
We have no idea if she's the cause of the event. You could literally never prove that claim. As I've already established, her being branded as humanity's destroyer does not necessarily prove that, because the probability exists that it could just be the fact that we as the audience know more information than the public in universe. You have no justification for your assertion, so Hitchens razor, idiot.
Homegirl is 0 for 3 in big decisions with plot armor. It's time to let the agenda go. This is without mentioning the homie hopping she was doing in the middle of getting her ass handed to her every single time she would mindlessly run into fights with people who she would somehow lose against despite having more elements than.
Okay, let's just address the homie hopping thing, and this is the incel shit that I was like alluding to in the intro of this video. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think that if you think Korra's a homie hopper, you just relate to season 1 Bolin too much, because I'm pretty sure anyone, and I mean anyone, who has had any form of meaningful interactions with women can agree that Korra did absolutely nothing romantic with Bolin. Like, lil bro. I'm sorry that the girl you wanted back in like high school or middle school or whatever wanted your homie and not you. Go to the fucking gym or something. It's really not her fault or her problem. But, and this is where I go into another thing I was alluding to in the intro. It is just, it's such a weird trend to spread hate towards women and female characters for things that male characters will get celebrated for. Like, just imagine for a second if Korra was a guy and bagged 2 sisters. You would have niggas in the comments talking about some, oh my god, bro, he has so much aura, bro, he bagged both of them, bro, he bagged the siblings, bro. And you want to know how I know this is true? Because I have 2 direct examples of it that I have witnessed. Clark Kent in Smallville, you know what I'm saying? It is literally the exact same scenario basically. He bagged Chloe and then bagged Lois, 2 cousins. And I'm sure anybody who's watched Smallville like me will tell you they fuck with Clark. We rocks with Clark. Clark doing that was some crazy shit. And now another example, Future. Yes, the man who has a literal song about having a threesome with 2 real sisters. Now, I have no problem with Future. He's one of the greatest artists I've ever heard in my lifetime. We fucks with Future. But y'all will hate on Korra and then turn around and celebrate men who do the exact same thing as her. If not even worse, cause that nigga Future said he had 2 sisters fucking on each other. Like, I'm sorry bro, I'm not finna send hate to Korra just because she didn't want Bolin back. And let's also address the other argument that he presented, which is the fact that she was losing all of her fights and Korra's weak, and you know, she's just the weakest avatar, because that's something people love to say. 1, she beat Amon, who is a bloodbender, may I add, and she did it in her base while Aang needed the avatar state just to save him from getting bloodbent. Do you want to know what base Korra did when she was getting bloodbent? Unavatu, you have to be another level of fucking delusional if you think Aang is beating the literal god of his verse. Korra, who might I add had the power of Aang due to the avatar state before it got stripped away, was losing to Vaatu. But nah bro, let's ignore all logic. Yes bro, a 12-year-old who was out here getting cooked by Azula is for sure beating Vaatu. You know, and Azula, whose lightning should not scale to Vaatu in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, that was able to kill Aang. Zahir, She literally had this man running for his life while she was handicapped. She was literally dying of poison and still trying to put belt to ass on him. You are lying if you are going to argue Zahir was winning that fight. He was literally running. The only time he ever beat her is literally when she was handcuffed. And Kuvira, because they love to bring up the Kuvira fight. Oh my god. Yeah, she got washed by Kuvira when she was fresh out of a wheelchair and had an opportunity to end her life, but her PTSD sold the bag. Do you want to know what Korra did to Kuvira when she was fully recovered? Very clearly beat her ass while in base, and then her avatar state had Kuvira so shook that she said it was power she could never dream to achieve. If you are still running with this narrative that Korra is weak in the Big 25, I am just fully convinced that you actually did not watch the show.
And yet, she's the one with the ego, as if she's beaten the Fire Lord. T-Lock fans, let yourself be free. You don't have to defend this.
Bro said as if she's beaten the Fire Lord, as if she didn't beat multiple opponents who are way more impressive than Ozai. Amon, who has access to bending, that was able to take out an adult Aang in his base. Batu, who I cannot reiterate enough, is literal god. Him and Rava literally scale above anything in Avatar. Zahir, I'm like 1000% confident Zahir's whooping Ozai's ass, and that's not based on anything, that's just based off intuition or whatever, sure. And same with Kuvira, I don't really care about the arguments either way. Even though if you want to get technical, base Korra in book 1 should be above base adult Aang, who should massively be above base kid Aang. So logically, any villain that scales to her in her base should also be above kid Aang. But I digress. It's also just like narratively consistent, because like didn't the Avatar creators literally confirm Korra would whoop Aang's ass?
9 times out of 10 I'll beat that person, but there's always that one, and I feel like 9 times out of 10 Aang would just get away. There's always that one time Korra like gets a hold of his like cowl and then just beats the crap out of him.
Like if I remember correctly, they said like 9 times out of 10 Aang would just run away or whatever, and then the 1 time out of 10 Korra would whoop him. So it's literally either Aang escapes or he loses. So like yeah, I don't really think it's necessary for her to beat bum ass Ozai, who arguably isn't even the strongest firebender by the end of Avatar, for her to have a quote unquote ego or whatever. Also, claiming that she has an ego kind of shows you didn't watch the show as well. She literally has an inferiority complex. That's like a huge part of her character all throughout the series. Now, I don't know if you're aware, because like, you know, I mean, based off this video, you're not really intelligent or anything. Having an inferiority complex is the direct opposite of having an ego. But I mean, I'm pretty sure like most Avatar fans who shit on Korra, he probably didn't even watch Korra, so whatever. Because there's like a plethora of times in canon where Korra refers to herself as a bad avatar in comparison to Aang and everyone else who came before. Her talking shit to opponents who she is stronger than, by the way, yes, does not equate to having an ego.
And to keep it a bean, y'all would not be writing for her like this if she was a straight white man. Let's just keep it a bean. Now, I've never understood that obligation, because thematically the show is not even progressive.
Okay, one, this is like just getting weirdly homophobic out of nowhere, implying that she receives special treatment because of her sexuality and her skin tone is the exact rhetoric that anti-woke niggas use. I don't want to brand this guy as that, but that's definitely what he's coming off as right now. And also, I can speak as someone who's heterosexual and black. I quite literally could not care less about what Korra's sexuality or skin tone is, because one, I'm not homophobic. I don't care what someone else does with their dick or vagina or whatever, as long as they're not out here being Diddy or EDP disciples. And two, while yes, as a black man, it's cool to see darker skinned characters, I don't think you're like telling the truth or even being honest here. Katara is one of the most divisive characters in Atla, cause she sucks by the way, but she is literally the same skin tone as Korra. Kuruk, or however the fuck you pronounce his name, is branded as a bum even by Korra fans, cause he's a bum. So yeah, no, you just randomly brought up her sexuality and race for like no reason, just to be weird. You're a weirdo on top of the fact that you're stupid.
First season is hilariously basic anti-communist propaganda propaganda, the second season is a Western bastardization of Japanese mythology, and this show turned two of the most powerful women in the gang into a trophy wife and a cop. It just sucks. She sucks. Her show sucks. All of it.
Okay, one, I don't give a fuck if it's a Western bastardization or if it's a basic comment. I really don't care. Is it well written in the context of the show? Whether or not it's accurate to whatever it's based on does not fucking matter. It is a fucking fictional show with niggas who can like shoot fire out of their feet, bruh. And I mean, Toph being a cop, it's something I dislike too, sure, but like I don't think I would call it bad writing. The last time we see Toph, like I haven't read the comics, but the last time we see Toph, she's 12. Everyone is a drastically different person from when they're 12. Bro, when I was 12, I was on 2K saying the F word and all kinds of slurs that could come to my mind. And I'm simply not that person anymore. I'm not a bigot. I don't spread hate to other minorities. It's called maturing. And Katara being a trophy wife, I don't fucking care. She sucks anyway. And I mean, it's funny he says Korra sucks when like I would take it based off this video. He likes Avatar, which has Ozai, the worst written villain I've ever seen in any piece of media ever. A villain with like no compelling ideology or philosophy. His entire goal is I'm gonna take over the world and become the Phoenix King. He's also a bum who gets cucked by his son, who gets cucked by Aang consistently. So I also have no reason to be scared of him as a physical threat, because the only time he's doing good against Aang is when Aang is being a little bitch. And he also accomplishes quite literally nothing. He sends Azula out and she has to make like all of her own plans. The whole capturing of Ba Sing Se was a direct result of Azula. Not to mention the fact that he doesn't even interact with our protagonist until the literal final episode of your show. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. There should never be any excuse for your antagonist in your media to not have any interactions or dynamic with your protagonist. But no. Korra's the show that sucks. I have way more shit I could say about Avatar, but no. Korra's the show that sucks for sure. I'm just gonna move on to the next TikTok, bro. This guy's stupid as fuck.
The spirits that we're seeing in Avatar in that world, some cultures, you would call that a demon. And if we're calling that a demon, then Korra's last decision was to open the gateway to fucking hell and keep it open. What the? Because here's the thing.
How has no one else thought of this? Like, this shit was shown to us way back in Avatar: The Last Airbender, when we see this motherfucking panda turning into this demonic ass fucker.
You ever just like sit back and listen to someone talk and they're just like so fucking dumb that you just think, how do you have a platform? Because like seriously, there's no way anyone above the age of 14 just listened to this and actually sat down and thought, yeah, these arguments are valid. This motherfucker just brought some shit up from Avatar, something that takes place 70 years before the events of the Legend of Korra, to justify why something in the Legend of Korra is bad. You would have to prove that this type of thing still exists in Korra's era, because as we can see on screen, when the spirits are let into the human world, as I already said way earlier in the video, nothing bad happened. You know what? No, because I'm not even gonna say nothing bad happened. Sure, I'll grant the fact that a couple buildings got destroyed. Yeah, some people in Republic City lost their homes. That's it though. That's literally it. That's the only thing that come from the spirit portals being open. Once again, I do not care about comics. Do not bring up comics, because these people are talking about the show. So no, we are not discussing extra canon material. We are discussing the show, the primary source. And the worst thing to come from the spirit portals being opened in book 2 or the end of book 2 is a couple of buildings got destroyed. Oh, what? You're gonna call it bad because Kuvira got power that she ultimately did nothing with because Korra stopped her? Yeah, feel free to use that argument. And I mean, as you're gonna see, this guy doesn't bring up anything from the Legend of Korra to justify why a decision made in the Legend of Korra doesn't work. He just simply brings up shit from long before the events of Korra, even though Korra itself establishes the fact that it's a different era and things have changed, but I'm giving him too much credit. He hasn't even watched the show, and he's clearly someone who thinks loud equals correct.
Like, Korra really left the possibility of shit like this happening 24/7 up for the world to have to deal with, while knowing that there are people out there who are non-fucking benders who can't defend themselves against the fucking spirits. And I love this dude's video because he really breaking down how stupid the shit she was doing when it pertained to the spirit world really was for the human plane. Like, let's keep it a band right now. You're not gonna tell me as a non-fucking bender, if you saw this fucking owl, you saw this fucking centipede, you're not gonna shit your drawers the moment you see them coming at you.
Okay, one, prove that those spirits would even have any interest in coming to the human world at this point in time. And two, prove that they have done it. I do not care about your headcanon or your fan theories or your possibilities on what could happen. I want to know if it has happened. And if it did, show me. Spoiler alert, it literally doesn't happen in the show. These people are making things up to be mad about. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I'm not gonna go through the rest. He doesn't say anything for the rest of the video, but I mean, yeah, you get the point. I don't really think I need to go over any more TikToks. They all say the literal same things. Like, the Avatar fan base is the literal biggest echo chamber I've ever seen in my life. I mean, shit, I might do a part 2 if this video does well enough. I don't know. If you are curious on my full thoughts on Avatar and Korra, I will have videos going through both of the shows soon, and by soon I mean eventually. I have a lot of shit to work on, but overall, I mean, yeah, if you repeat any of the talking points used in these videos, I genuinely do question like your media literacy in any capacity, because like literally just simply watching the show would prove any of these guys wrong. Like, I'm not even a massive Korra fan. Like, I think the show's good. I don't think the show's bad by any means. I think it's a pretty good show, but like, I don't watch it like extensively or analyze it for real. Like, I've watched it like 2 or 3 times casually, and yet I somehow know more about it than people who dedicate their pages to Avatar and its shitty franchise. My bad, I've been taking a lot of shots at the original series this video, but I mean, yeah, dude, if you like this video, like, share, comment, subscribe. Like I said, I might do a part 2 to this video, I don't know, but yeah, just wanted to get some out to y'all while I work on my somewhat longer videos. Pretty crazy that I've reached a point where 20 plus is considered a short video for myself, but yeah, don't send any hate to these guys. At the end of the day, while I think that they're dumb and maybe even bigoted, I don't know, it's a fucking cartoon. Like, we are literally having disagreements over drawings. There's way more important things going on in the world, but yeah, I'm out. I just wanted to get this video out, vent my frustrations. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, hit the gym, make some bread today. I'll see y'all niggas later, bro. Bye.
In the fast car, but my lonely. I got what you needed, girl, that's why I said, and it's on me, cause I been that you want me. Rolling in the car when I'm outside when you're hungry. Tryna be there for you when you want me, cause the last time that I checked, we was running out of time. Last time that I checked, I don't know why you saying I'm crossing every line. Last time, it's the last time. Ain't you sick of hearing this?